Okay, welcome everyone to another brilliant, exciting episode of the MoonShot Podcast, where we talk to amazing people doing amazing things in the world. Today, we're joined by a very special guest. She is someone that I've known for years, maybe even millennia. More on that later. We are joined by the awesome, the enigmatic Olga Kalenda. Olga, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rajiv. My pleasure to join the company, and thank you for such a warming invitation. Happy to be with you.
Thank you. And Olga, for the benefit of our audience, can you share with them and for Robert and Josue who don't know you a little bit about what you do at the moment, and we'll get into, maybe a little bit about what happened before momentarily, but just for context, can you tell them what you do?
Sure, absolutely. I just started my new career path. I switched completely from whatever I was doing earlier, and I'm talking about real estate. So I'm about 2.5 years in Boston. This is totally new place, and my luck, I'm starting something that relates to connections and networking when I found myself in absolutely new place. So it's funny, but it's more challenging, but it's more fun. And I absolutely love it. Like I have passion and I feel I'm doing the right thing right now. Like it's just new page in my life. So this is what I'm doing. I'm with Coldwell Banker and I'm real estate agent in Back Bay, which is Boston area, in one highly productive office. And I'm just looking forward for big things to happen.
Awesome. And Olga, also for our listeners and my co-host benefit, can you also share what were you doing prior to being a realtor?
Oh, sure. Uh, I was, I don't want to, okay, I believe it's about 6 years. I was working in the hospital. It was medical field, totally different environment, working with patients, doing ultrasound, all type of ultrasounds. It's like pediatrics. And I switched, Robert is from New York, right? Actually,
Yeah.
everybody knows New York pretty well. So if I say the name, it's a couple of hospitals in Brooklyn, and my last place, it was in Manhattan, this Weill Cornell Presbyterian Hospital. Um, I had great experience like through the whole career doing that. And I don't know where our conversation will go later, like which direction, but I can say just that I'm really happy that I had this in my past, and I got lots of experience with people. Again, people sort of in the not necessarily pain, but definitely not the best place of their lives since they're going to the hospital. And I've learned a lot just kind of as a human, like some not technical parts, but something when you can understand really dealing with their patients or people who need your help, your understanding. And through that, I came to real estate, which I kind of kept in my mind always. I wanted to do real estate. I love houses. And also, I love the idea that any infrastructure you work in, let's say like hospital, even the best one, you still have very limited space to move around there because it's very structural organization. When doing real estate, it's really it's like I'm the boss and I am like a clinic lady for myself. So it's all about how I want to navigate myself, how I want to be around people, how can I help to people, how I can connect to people. And this is what the beauty about real estate, like for me.
And Olga, can you also, part of our focus here is to kind of ask people about, sure, there's the work side of you, then there's the side of you that is not working. So we also want to find out as to how do you relax, or where does relaxation fall in your broad priorities? Is relaxation important to you? How do you relax? What do you do to relax?
It's a good question, Rajiv. It's like super deep for me because there are so many aspects of relaxation I can think about. We can talk about spiritual part of it. We can talk about like connecting to the nature. For me, probably it's easier to say what I don't like to do than to say what I like to do because I like all type of sports like rock climbing, parachute jumps, I'm scuba diver, certified scuba diver. So I love that adrenaline. It really refreshes me and kind of gives me power. And sometimes when I feel like really I'm not feeling well, I feel like, okay, where's the airport around? I really need a plane ride or something. Like I need to have a jump, to do a jump. But that's kind of my adrenaline side. Another side is, of course, I love my friends, and I believe that people they carry lots of they're very resource. How to say? There's so many resources inside of people, and especially your close friends, because they already know you and they kind of united with you in some kind of special bond. We call it friendship, and just to hang out and I never was good at small talk. I always need to build up like stronger relationship, and I always value that so much. And then we can like all company kind of all one-on-one friends. We can just dig down into our experience doing something, and that's already very like lots of joy and very refreshing. And for me, it means a lot. So this is another way to relax. And after that, of course, like reading, museums, something like intellectual relaxation. You might be surprised and smile about, but I really like courses of quantum physics. I never liked physics at school. I never was good at it, but I found this wonderful app. It does like they do lectures, and you can choose the subject. So it's like just amazing to try to understand deeper. So for me, that's super relaxation too. And I have background in psychology, and I definitely can say that whatever when we switch even from whatever we're doing like doing work but just completely different pace and different style like type of work, that's already kind of relaxation for our brains. And I'm ready to embrace anything when I have a moment. I think like life is really full of opportunities for connections, relaxations. You just need to use it, not to miss it.
You really unpacked quite a bit there, Olga. You're well-rounded, picked up a little bit of cultural, the desire to fulfill yourself with art, with music, and adrenaline. I guess forget the coffee, just jump out of a plane.
Coffee just like a countryside band. I need a little bit stronger.
That's pretty good there. That's and just the idea of quantum physics. We talk a lot about energy and how energy plays an important and everything is energy, right? And just depends on its state that it's at that present moment. And when we shift that energy, we shift and have an impact on the environment. So I think that's really awesome that you brought that out. And so often we stereotype or we put people in boxes, especially like if we're performing a job and everyone says, okay, you're just a construction worker or you're just a nurse but we're so much more. Depending on the environment, the conditions, and the situation, sometimes we're a friend, sometimes we're a colleague, sometimes we're a mentor, sometimes we're a student. And when we have these conversations like we're having today, we can unpack all of those things and really demonstrate to the world that we're so much more, each one of us individually. And you're a great example of that from what I hear so far, Olga.
Oh, thank you. Take it as a compliment.
It's a compliment. So take it.
Thank you. Taken.
And yeah, and Olga, like you mentioned something about, relaxation from spiritual and non-spiritual, and you kind of like shared about the non-spiritual. I'd love to kind of get into the spiritual side of it because that is actually an area that we do kind of spend a lot of time talking to all our guests about to kind of understand, what does it mean to them because that's how we, broaden our own understanding of the subject.
So we're talking about spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Like more interested in spiritual. I guess I don't know what it means for different people. I guess it's all about the definition, but I can say for me, spiritual means where any type of activities where I can connect to kind of, I would call it universe, like anything that's not necessarily materialistic, but it's more about feelings, about what can make you be richer emotionally. And I have sort of as a hobby interest in esoteric. I'm not practicing any really esoteric like I don't know experience. I don't do anything like that, but I love to read about that, and also I love psychology. And long time ago, I just found out that it's very interesting if you compare kind of not traditional views on life some beliefs like shamans, traditions, and all that, and compared to kind of more scientific approach like psychology and hypnosis and all that, like, I don't know, activities, if you can call it that way. It has a lot in common, actually. I almost feel like we just call it different way. And some people prefer to go to psychologists and try different kind of ways to open the door to inner yourself, and it works. Or back days, people trusted, for example, shamans. I don't know how they found out their ways, like probably more like kind of intuitively as a gut feeling. But I feel like it's all the same. It depends how you call it, how you approach it, but it's something created us, right? And we live in the world that really connected. Even quantum physics, it's we're talking about physics, right, as a science, but it's still nobody was able to explain why those like little particles able to move differently, like to make different patterns. And that depends if someone's watching them or not watching. Let's say that was a famous experiment. You can Google if you don't know like exactly what I mean. So I think it's also with all this AI right now, we still cannot explain that part. So that gives me really deep feeling that exactly like bingo, we're there. Just because of that, it just spreads around. And sometimes for fun, I was even trying to imagine in my head that it means if I'm going deep down and see everything in that like particles, then there is no borders where I end and where, I don't know, Rajiv starts, because it just everything flows around, like connects to each other. And I love to feel world this way, because that gives me lots of harmony. And I can touch, especially springtime. I love to touch trees. It might sound weird, but I feel like everything comes out from the ground. I mean, it was dead, right? And right now, just few weeks and so much going on, so much life. It's like blooming. It's like, imagine if I could be, I don't know, like small, tiny bug or something, I probably could hear even like all this, I don't know how to call it even. It's like something big is happening. And I think it's amazing. And I feel like I literally, if I focus and I try to feel just this life going on, like touching the tree, I feel it. It gives me part of that energy too. It transfers to me. And this is what I mean, spiritual, like part of life and spiritual connection to things. And I respect like all form of really creations in this world. And I believe that we're all connected as a one big organism. And kind of the moment we forget about that, we have more problems in our lives. But when we more connected to that, life is more beautiful. And you just need a little bit of adrenaline, like touch the tree, smell the flower, and your day is good.
Nice. So wait, so Olga, you kind of have to, part of the whole touching the tree part, I think you skipped over the part about the fact that you like to walk barefoot in the city and on the grass. So, by the way, speaking of, do you still do that in Boston, or was that just a New York thing?
It's you made me think right now. I still do it, but less than in New York, I guess, because I have a child right now. It's like life is a little bit different. I guess I need to make sure that he has shoes on first, and then I'm thinking what to do with my shoes. But yes, it's true. I love to be barefoot, and it never stopped me to be in the middle of New York. And people were saying, "But this is asphalt. You're in the middle of Manhattan. It's so like dirty." For me, I mean, first of all, I know my skin is not like, I don't have cuts, right? So like person working in a medical field, I kind of know how you can catch something what you don't want to catch. But I know I'm fine. I don't have those problems. But then, especially after the rain, I feel like everything is super clean, and I feel like the earth has again energy, and I feel that energy. And on the top of that, I think everybody agrees that it's proved already that we have those receptors on the bottom, right? That like it's important to touch something. It connects to our brains. So, but not kind of being boring, trying to go deep in some kind of philosophical details. I would say it makes me feel absolutely great and amazing. I love rain and be barefoot when it's heavy, heavy rain. Because I feel like a kid and life is beautiful and I'm happy. And everybody tries to wrap in their jackets and running somewhere to cover themselves. For me, rain is like beautiful time to put my bag away, like to go straight, to put myself just right to receive all rain. Kind of, I'm here. Let's. It's like my playground. And yes, I've loved to do it all the time. Like in Central Park, New York, even you remember after the even events, like official events, when I was wearing high heels, but I still enjoyed. First of all, I was tired from high heels. And on the way back to the subway, I just was absolutely fine walking with no shoes on. And I guess if someone judged me, that was not my problem. I enjoyed.
Right, exactly.
I guess a good way to put it is you were pretty grounded.
That's
Very
right.
I like to go high up, but at the very end, I was very grounded.
That's right. That's right. And also, Olga, like, what's behind you is this, I think it's like a painting. It looks like a painting, maybe an oil painting
It's a
of something.
tapestry, to be like very accurate.
Right, right. So I know that you kind of have a fascination for art, and there's like a painting behind Robert. There's some sort of a design behind Josue as well. So talk to us a little bit about what does art mean to you, and why are you so fascinated by art? Because I remember the time when we used to meet up, and you would kind of give me this something which had like I don't know a mini of one of Van Gogh's pieces, and you would kind of go into great detail as to what that means and the significance of it and what the artist was thinking and feeling when he made it and all those level of details which I just completely didn't know, and you kind of gave me a full download of all those things. So
I'm impressed you still remember that. So it was good that I mentioned. You still remember, even I forgot that episode.
yes, yes, yes. So please tell us as to why does art hold that power over you, and like what is it about it that makes it so interesting to you?
I think there are probably two aspects of it. First, like official. I love art because I'm very big on aesthetics. And for me, anything that was beautiful, it catches my attention. I really want to be closer to that, and I'm trying to understand and feel it. And I probably, I don't remember right now so well as I used to know because I studied art earlier and in like earlier years. And my favorite expressionism, this is my favorite direction of 20th century. But again, that's more academic, kind of more as a lecture. I don't want to do it as a lecture, so it's more like book part of art. But my personal, as I said, like two aspects. And second aspect here, it would be, I believe everybody is artist inside. It's just if you let yourself to be one of them, you might not make something that everybody would say, wow, but it's still your expressions because expression of yourself, because for me, art, first of all, it's expression of yourself. Otherwise, why someone needs it? It's like your message out there. And sometime in modern art, I don't want to criticize anybody in particular, but sometimes I feel like very questionable. And nowadays, my friend joked that when something is like kind of questionable, my friend joked that I'm an artist, I see this way, so just shut up. And now sometimes I see like, yes, people, it's like a strong tool, right? Like nowadays, modern art, sometimes for me, it's very questionable. And I understand it's a lot to do with money and like who really supported you, who bought your art. That what differentiates kind of level of artist, I would say. But I think everybody has it inside. And the question, if you want to really, even sometimes you found it yourself in yourself to bring it out. And second, if you have time, really willing to bring it out. For me, honestly, I didn't find time. I have many projects, like art projects in my head I would love to do. Unfortunately, still projects in my head till now, maybe some later. But I love to visit galleries, especially New York has like close to Central Park that I forgot what avenue close by. There are a couple of very cute galleries. And I have my favorite artists there. I all the time stop by. Just again, it's a moment of kind of inspiration and trying to read their message without talking, especially to the person. I feel like artist is always more kind of sensitive. Like it's not like average person, someone who is more transparent or more open, like soul open to you. So it's always interesting, and I might like it or not. It's almost a conversation. You might like what I said or might not like what I said, but we're talking. So same way I see art, and for me it means a lot, and I think it's a big part of our life, like to be full, to be completed.
Yeah, thank you for that, Olga. Robert, anything to add? Because I know we touched on energy, we touched on art. I know that you care greatly about both of those subjects.
Yeah, I was wondering, Olga, are there any source materials you go to for inspiration on your spiritual side?
Right now it's a little harder because I said I have like the past years because I'm like mom of little kids, so that's a little bit like not my typical life, I would say. I'm still adjusting. But what I know about myself and what I used to do, I believe in meditation. And again, not like any special way. Like I'm not going to temple. I mean, maybe there is one way to do proper way to do meditation. So then I really don't know how to do it. I do it more like just the way I feel inside. And a long time ago, I had experience. We stayed with a group 2 weeks in really the deep woods. We were cooking, like using just local waters and having shower in local river. So it was pretty interesting. And the person who was doing that, he tried to teach kind of own philosophy. It was a lot about meditation and kind of inner. He used to say that everybody, when we are born, we have kind of like strong fire, right, in this area. And through the time, we are losing that because of sort of life pollution. And he combined kind of his philosophy was based on the combination of many, again, some moments from religion, some just philosophical moments, psychology, like kind of salad of everything. But I like it because it was very different way to approach kind of the life, to understand yourself in that life. First day, I thought they are not keys. Everybody there, I'm done. Like they're too crazy. I'm not living in this like with wolves on this in this forest. I'm going home. But then I decided, hold on, like you know about yourself something, you think you're smart, but what about just to switch off that and pretend that you was born yesterday? Let's just see what's happening here. And that helped me a lot. That worked. I stopped my judgment, and I was able to observe a lot what was new for me completely. Maybe like part of it very irrational, was hard, but then I was so happy that I got that experience. And honestly, at the end of like second week of that training, we were doing lots of meditations, and there is something that even if you go to therapists, they would recommend you to write it down, right? Like if you feel anger or something is wrong inside of you, you need to speak it out or write it out. It was some idea. Like in that training, we were the guy who was our mentor, he was saying that you have pain inside of yourself and you need to sit and write it down, kind of to bury down. And absolutely from A to Z, I did all my steps myself, like in way I shifted in different feelings, emotions inside of me. And I started to understand that it works. The thing only, because I became more sensitive, I had answers inside of me, I felt it. And when I kind of had a big question about something, but inside of my head even, I sent the answer. It was coming like with some kind of vision. So it's not like crazy. I'm a very materialistic person. I love science. Like it's not easy to, Rajiv knows, like question everything. I'm not buying easily any like wonder things. But that worked. And I felt power of meditation is like cleaning yourself, because I think this is why like when you're in the church, for example, you're supposed to follow not only church, it could be like if you're Muslim, you have to do fasting, right? So if you think like everywhere, it's about kind of forget about yourself as your like flesh and what you like, and focus just something on your mind and on your feeling and soul. And this is a way to connect to God, to connect to something like above you. And I think meditation helps with that. So that's what was my experience back days in the woods. And I don't know if I answered really the question about materials, because I would say I do meditations. I love flame, like fire, and I love water. Probably water, my number one source of energy. I'm kind of not talking, but I will think the ocean, this is only the thing that have never changed since the world was created. I mean, we know Plato, we're moving already. They're not in the same position anymore. Like everything has changed. Dinosaurs died, if they did exist, but oceans, they never changed. They never became completely dry, and like suddenly again water came back. I mean, whatever was created from day one, we kind of still can experience that and can touch that. Of course, different a little bit, but for me, ocean is like very spiritual, powerful, and the most ancient things you can find around. And for me, it's a big source of energy.
Yeah. I love the fact that you said earlier that, you're very much aware of how things are connected and the oneness of things. So how would you describe your decision-making process? For instance, how did you switch from the medical field to real estate? What factors went into it? And what do you hope to gain both for yourself and for the community by going into real estate?
Thank you for that question, Robert. And I questioned even myself when I started doing real estate, and the answer came in very easy way. Actually, like there is nothing like very sophisticated. It just many years I was working doing something always around people, and I really enjoyed it very much. And up to some moment in my life, I just understood that I want to give back. And even let's say 20 years ago, I was doing business to business sales in the like very early days when I just started working. But that time my brain worked like you need to make money. And I mean, you need your clients like to make money, to make good deals. And that motivated me. I had a great time. I was happy doing that. I was working in Europe that time, in France, and I loved everything. But 20 years later from that time, I really see things, the world and everything about myself, and my mission is different. I guess I found my mission. This is the right way to say it, because I believe in people, and I believe the world is not about yourself. It's about what you do and how you reflect on that world. And for example, hospital environment gave me a lot, really, like, because when people not in the best position and sometimes really in very bad position, and they were more open, they kind of soul naked, and they're best teachers for you, because sort of like no fake stuff around. I mean, it's really how we work, what the reasons we're doing things. And let's say I've learned from the hospital, definitely experience that sometimes people say, oh, it's difficult person, or like it's hard to deal with this person. And I've learned, I believe in that, in this works, that people who needs to be loved the most difficult cases. As like sometimes really you meet someone who is like a little bit, I don't know, with attitude, mean, or like something. But if you don't right away think that, oh, he's a bad person or she's just nasty, but you try to think why, and you would kind of feel it like going down. That person just needs more attention. And this is to be nasty. This is only the way to get that attention, especially when they come into the hospital as patients, because everybody's sort of obligated to be nice to them. And I remember I just started working, maybe 1 year already I was working. I had a patient, my colleague said that sort of that lady, not very easygoing, just person, and be prepared. And I was kind of new in that environment for that moment. So they warned me. And I was like literally not panicking, but like how to be prepared, like, because she already wrote a couple of times not nice letters about, like, I don't know, she didn't like this and that, and everybody was bad and everything was bad. And I already was thinking, well, what would be my response to my boss if that happened? And it was so interesting because I looked at that person trying just simply to feel her, to understand her. And she had her hair dyed in like burgundy color, something like reddish. And I was wearing boots, really same color. Maybe that helped, because I invited her already to do the test. And she just looked at me, paused, and after said, I like your boots. And I was like, okay, sounds like we got connection here. And then we were talking a little bit during the test. And I didn't push. I was more like, it's very important to listen, right? It's hard in life because we want to talk about ourselves and be listened, but not to listen is harder. And we became not like friends, but I mean, in the way of work environment, we became sort of friends. And she was very happy living, and absolutely didn't have any feeling that she was a difficult person. And that moment I was thinking she just needed to be understood and probably be loved a little bit. And this is only what she was craving, because when people are very judgmental, it's hard to get it if you don't have it at home. So outside, people probably will judge you because, I don't know, you have strange look according to them. And then where you can go. And if you remember Maslow needs pyramid, it's probably what, to be loved. I think it's like second or third level. It's still like pretty much at the basis, like we need it. And so people, I think it's very simple. We just need to be understood, not necessarily understood, but probably accepted. It's a better way to say it, and loved. And this is what I think navigating through life and jobs, different careers, or anything you do in life, I start to think more about what community means to me and how I reflect on community, if I even make any difference or vibrations, my existence around people. And so from all that thinking, I realized that real estate is really something that it's all in my hands. How I approach people, how I like what I do for them, and what tone like we keep between like doing transaction. Even let's say we're talking about money transaction, but it's still, I think, for real estate. First of all, it doesn't matter. First house buyers or multiple house buyers, people are always scared because it's an important transaction in your life. It's a big investment, and people need to, they're afraid. They want to make sure they make the right decision. And I think this is like for at the very deep for everybody, like at the core, it's like this fear. And they need someone not just like very smart, like talking. They need someone really to feel almost like in diving. You need to have a body because you feel good under the water, but you cannot see fully your equipment. Something might be missing. And you need second one who can evaluate you and just tell you like, okay. And this kind of what I want to be for clients, my clients. I just want to be that body. It's like, oh, if you find right now solar, like swim around, fine. But if you need me, just like give me a sign and I will evaluate everything. I will give you help if you need it. And kind of to make a relationship based on that. So right now, let's say, as I said, 20 years ago, it was more like money motivation. Right now, I believe in kind of a mission and really like what you do for the community, because that's important. It's not only good to breathe and exist, otherwise even plant can breathe, right? Like as photosynthesis. So for human, I think we're capable to do more. And again, I try to be better of myself, like with all this thinking. And I have this already inside. I think I built up kind of that stuff, that qualities that right now I can use for my real estate career. And meanwhile, being myself and being very transparent and honest. And as I said, it's not game just for money, to make money. Of course, it's important, but I'm based on relationship, and that's my philosophy.
I think it's really interesting that you went from the medical field to real estate because, healthcare is such a huge issue in this country. Whether it's going to even be available to people, the cost of it, it's a really recurring issue that people have to deal with. And the housing crisis is another one where and that crisis is really all over the world, where housing is increasingly more difficult for people to acquire. So it's interesting that you went from one field to another where there are, serious societal issues around both. And I think it's great that you have the empathy from dealing in the medical establishment, which could not have been easy. And I applaud you for that, because that's not anything I could have ever done, work at a hospital. But, you're bringing that empathy to a field of real estate. And, I was in the real estate business for 15 years, and I think it's commendable that you want to come in with an honest approach. But there are a lot of people in the real estate business who are just in it for the money. And some of the behavior is very much a reflection of what's going on in our society. So just be prepared for that. It's not all about honesty, but you're bringing that level of consciousness to a situation will hopefully raise the consciousness of whatever you're involved with. So I think it's great.
Thank you, Robert. It's interesting parallel you mentioned. And I appreciate your words. Like I will keep in mind.
I think
I'm sorry, can I ask you, said 15 years in real estate you had yourself?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
You said you was doing real estate about 15 years yourself?
For about 15 years, yeah. Mostly in renovating old buildings in Brooklyn, mostly in Brooklyn. And what a great experience. I not for the faint of heart, but a great experience.
Can I ask you, please? Like, can you come with one, I don't know, sharp best advice? Someone who is like well experienced for years to someone who is just
Well, definitely I'd be willing to share any experience that I had, but maybe you could focus the question more narrowly, because real estate is a very large item. So like if you could say more specifically what you may have a question about, I'd be more than happy to give you whatever 2 cents I can contribute.
Technical part, but like let's say, sometimes when people say answer without thinking, this is what I mean. It's like it's not well thought. It's something intuitively. Like let's say, if person is asking you, should I do it or not? Like kind of your blessing. Like just.
Well, I'm getting the feeling that you use your intuition a lot in whatever you do, and you try and bring your best self to every situation. That's the best advice I could give you. Keep doing that. And just be aware that not everybody has the purest motives as you might have in real estate. In other words, just be aware there's many different facets that come into play in a real estate situation. And when you're dealing with money, I don't have to tell you, you've worked for probably at least 20 years, right? In France and in the United States. I'm sure you're aware of what a lot of people will do when it comes to money, the efforts they will make, and they're not always the most scrupulous efforts. But it doesn't mean you have to sink to the level of anybody else. I would say just be aware and don't sell yourself. Be yourself in every situation, but just be aware that not everybody is coming to a real estate deal with your sincerity and your desire for honesty and your desire to help people. Not everybody has that within them. And as long as you're aware of that, you should be fine.
Thank you, Robert. That's a good one.
I would say is just the integrity that you carry through. And people that have been in real estate for a while, they understand that markets, they go in cycles. And the ones that would stand all the cycles is typically because they've been consistent in their reputation and their relationships and have that integrity and also serve as a resource. If you're just consistently as a resource and people view you as being very competent and confident in the information you're providing and also having their best interest as a client, those are very important aspects that may not necessarily demonstrate in closing a sale initially, because as you know, it's a large purchase, so it takes time. And just being that consistent in that approach will show through. And a lot of times people decide, they meet you right away and they get a certain feel and they decide, okay, I want to work with you or I don't want to work with you. And if that shows through, whether you even you may decide, you may have a client and you may feel, I don't know if I can work with this person. So you have to also have that internal fortitude to be able to walk away, so to speak, or be selective on the people you want to work with as well. And it turns out it kind of falls into place. That's just my 2 bits.
Thank you. And Rajiv, make sure we'll have conversation, let's say in 2 years from now. I would love to share probably
all the big deals.
Yeah. You know what, Olga, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be anybody else. Be yourself in the situation. And from what I can gather, you have no problem in being yourself. And that's a great personal attribute that you have. And it will help you in anything that you do, including real estate.
And a lot of things too in life is we do things with people that we enjoy being around, right? And these transactions or decisions to do things come as a result of how we connect maybe in other ways. And the more that you're connected, present, whether it's through art, whether it's through skydiving, whether it's through, you're a diver as well, so above the ground, on the ground, below, these experiences make you a richer person. And people want to associate with people that are rich in other ways in their life. All of it matters, I guess.
I see that point. Like, you're so right. Like, more you can connect on different subjects. I mean, people just, more you have, it's better, obviously. Like, even just as their personal skills. And plus, again, I love to do everything deep. I understand things only when I understand from the very basic. And I've learned recently, like, everything about constructions. So Robert, you said he was doing more like constructions in Brooklyn, like for houses. And it's funny, I just a few days ago, I called my friend who does the same. And I asked to explain a couple of things about like heatings and boilers and types. And because when I understand myself, I feel confident to advise someone or even just to say my opinion that like, okay, this system is about that. But, sometimes, only like a little bit on the top and you're like, yeah, I've heard this is better. And then even person feels that you're not sure, like, is it good or not good? So I started like really from small pieces. And I believe it's about like level of expertise, because people sense it too. When you really understand like I understand an exclamation mark. This is different than I kind of understand, but let's Google it.
Right.
So I have to I understand an exclamation mark.
And in a way, buildings and architecture are a form of art, and beauty. And if you approach it from that point of view, it will also help as well. They have a certain feeling, they have a certain consciousness too. And so if you're aiding the preservation of a building, it's a really beautiful thing. If you're restoring a building and you're bringing it back to its former glory, that's also great. And you may even be changing the use of a building. That could be fantastic too. But respect, the original purpose of the building and what it was there for, if you know what I mean. And I would be surprised to learn that Boston doesn't have beautiful buildings, just like New York. I'm sure they do. And I'm sure they have a lot of old buildings too.
Even maybe not hard to compare, but because Boston, like all this history, right, with Revolution.
Right.
Like there's so much of this history sitting here, and really,
right.
We don't have, it's definitely enough old buildings, I would put that way.
Right. So you're well suited for that reason as well, because you can approach it from the standpoint of the beauty of the building and thinking what could be a higher purpose for the use of the building while maintaining the integrity of the building and its original purpose. And that could be very challenging, but also very rewarding as well.
And going back to on different components and structures, we talked about like boilers and those things. You don't necessarily have to be the subject matter expert in those topics, but if you're a resource and know how to get the right people and have a relationship with people that have the answers to those questions or those problems, again, being a great resource that makes you invaluable.
That's really exactly what you said. It's a big thing, and I believe in that. And I'm thinking about Rajiv right now because for many years he was part of my resources because he has huge network and he's like amazing, like so popular person. I used to go like different events together, but I always knew if I needed something out of my like typical like field, what I'm doing, any weird stuff I need, like I'm texting Rajiv, like, can you find me like any contact like on this subject? He always, and what I love, within a second, sometimes we might not be in touch, I don't know, half a year even. We're texting here there, Happy New Year or something, because right now, like my life is really busy and Rajiv is busy, but he's over there and I know it. Like the moment, or sometimes he texts me something too out of nowhere. And it's like not like, oh, what happened for the past 3 months? Like in my head, it's like nothing happened. Like, okay, he's asking this, I'm answering that. So that Rajiv is talking about resources. Yes, he's a big part of my resources because I think we share this idea. We believe in people and people connected with everybody connected with everybody. And when you need something, it's like when you pray to God, you still need to give chance God to help you. But I believe God helps through people. And what you said is totally like 100%. Like I agree. I see it the same way. But still, I just love to know things in details myself, I guess. I don't know. Gives me satisfaction. It's like I have my area of expertise is pretty high.
That's good. That's a good thing.
And, Olga, just to kind of add to what you said and what Robert was saying about, dealing with people, one of the things that I've kind of learned recently, maybe I always knew it, but it was just, I was reminded from another source about the approach. It's almost like when you're dealing with people, and if you first approach them per se without an agenda, but just to get to know them for the inherent value that they have just as a person. So you're not looking at them as a as a dollar sign, you're not looking at them as a paycheck, you're not looking at them for whatever they represent. But if you're looking at them just as who they are as a person, a person that has inherent value of being a person, not about who they represent or they're rich or whatever. And the advice that I was given was when you approach people in that almost very genuine way without the expectation, oh, I want something from you. And it's almost like a genuine sincerity of like, I really want to get to know you. I want to go like 1 or 2 levels deeper in getting to know you. And when you kind of focus on that, the level of connection that you can get with that approach is so much more deeper and so much faster, to the point that whatever you had previously thought that you wanted will come to you in any case. It's just that the approach is more so about making like an actual connection, a genuine connection with a person, where they will then feel that connection and say, you know what, I really like this conversation. Can we connect on LinkedIn, or can we connect on Facebook or Insta? Give me your number. Can I have your card? And it's better that way than the other way where you say, hi, I'm Rajiv. Are you on LinkedIn? Let's connect. And yeah, here's my card, as opposed to doing it the other way around. And actually, for a while, I was actually doing it in that first
This
way.
is what I wanted to say, but I feel like deja vu because this is what I used to see Rajiv was doing. Hi, my name is Rajiv. I'm on LinkedIn. Let's connect.
I know.
For
So
a long time, it was your style, really.
I know. And so the thing is that, like, I was like in a networking event, and then I, met with this someone that I met at, another networking group, and she's the one that kind of gave me this feedback by saying, you know what, Rajiv, when you kind of connect with people, try a softer approach. Try approach where you first kind of meet them just as a person. Forget about LinkedIn and their phone number, their business. Forget about all that. Just kind of focus more on getting to know them as a person. And when I heard that, I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? But then I just let my ego go to the side, and I said, let me just really listen to what is being said. Let me just truly listen. And then I was like, wow, this is like some pretty deep stuff where if you put that expectation aside and you approach someone with the pure intention of just getting to know them, the kind of connection that can form with that kind of an approach is radically different than any other approach, which might be super superficial because you're kind of just connecting someone by saying, hi, are you on LinkedIn, blah, 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 whatever, bye, as opposed to, really going deeper, asking probing questions by saying, why do you do that? What were you thinking when you were doing that? Like genuine things as opposed to just, superficial surface level things. So the where I'm kind of going with this is because, like, you were asking Robert about, you were trying to pick well, the two experts that we have here on real estate, Josue and Robert, because they've been involved with real estate deals in a, like from maybe two very unique vantage points. And I think just to kind of like bring it all together, and this is something that I think already, Olga, it's about the kind of connection that you have with people when you meet them, and you kind of meet them more so just on that person to person connection. I would say just continue to do that. And I think that's basically what Robert was alluding to as well, where he said that you show up the way that you show up, and you're really good at showing up in that same way, because that's that people really gravitate to, and that's why people are, drawn to you, because of that genuineness and your openness of meeting with someone without any, judgment or barrier or anything like that.
Thank you, Rajiv. That's like really good point. And actually, you reminded me experience in Macy's back days. And I've learned later that for all like salespeople, they do training. And I mean, it's a trick. If I give you a compliment, then it's already you cannot say no to me, or at least you will be nicer to me. It's just a trick. And I noticed that in Macy's, I had really old bag that I wanted to throw it out. It was a purse that really I just grabbed it because I didn't have time to waste for another one. And in my head, it's already so old, I need to get rid of it. And I'm in Macy's store, and there, I think, perfume cosmetic section. And the girl approached me and said, oh, I love your bag. And I heard this kind of I love your necklace or whatever, like multiple times somewhere in like special stores. But I believed them because, okay, I had a good necklace. I kind of believed in that myself. But that bag, it's a piece of garbage. I'm sorry, it's trash. And you're telling me, can you do better at least when you're lying? Can you like use your brain at least lie about something more? People can believe you. And same thing, I think it's very international, because I had trip to Italy, and when people try to sell you something there, like, I mean, that's, I don't know how that group of people, like not officially working there, or like even, I don't know, I don't know, probably they sell good stuff, I don't know, but they try to push so hard. And I noticed that it was so common. People randomly commented your shoes. It's like literally, they were like, oh, I love your shoes, by the way. Oh, where are you from? And this shoes topic, I don't know, maybe because it was Italy, they proud of shoes there, this first thing. But at least, can you make it like more interesting? One person saying, I love your shoes, another person saying, I love your shirt, at least something, because everybody in Italy, like those people on the street selling keychain or like whatever, trying like to get into conversation with you for some kind of other later business to sell something to you. they loved your shoes. It was in Rome. So I don't know, maybe in Madrid, like in Spain, I don't know, other European countries, they different approach. But absolutely understood that they knew there it's like formula, right? So there's some tricks how to get to you, but that's still fake, even if people break your shield for the moment, right? But you would have time to regroup and you would still, it will not be long-term relationship. You would end it. And I believe this only organic way, sort of when you just sort of demonstrate your values and able to see what person is, like without even any judgment or expectations. I believe this is a more just natural way really to keep relationship, and somewhere later it will bring you results if it means to. And if not, you would enjoy just kind of nice, not fake conversation in the moment.
One of the things that a lot of people do at social mixers is they want to qualify you on the spot, right? What do you do for a living? How much wealth or this do you have? And then if you don't meet that criteria, they're on to the next person. And that can have its place when you're officially getting down to business, so to speak. But that can be a turnoff as well, because you pick up right away that this person only cares about you if you meet that qualification criteria. But when you step into a space and you do it with, how can I help you? How can I be a resource or a value? And you genuinely do want to help the person. This is where you have the conversation and they bring up a challenge they may have, and you either offer a suggestion, a solution, or a connection. And now you just established some value, because now you walk away and you did deliver something of value to them, and they're not going to forget. And this is how you build your network, and people view you as a resource to go to. And perhaps maybe later on, when you've delivered on helping someone, then you have an ask, and you can approach them with that ask.
Right. Very true. I feel like I already felt so great whatever I'm doing, like this real estate things makes me very happy and exciting. And after this conversation, it's just like very inspiring. I feel like bet it's almost 6 p.m. Like I would love to start the day right now to doing like millions in that direction. I have to wait till tomorrow morning. That's very interesting, and all comments, advices, like I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, good luck with everything, Olga. And I
Yeah.
think, you're on the right track, and we would hope to see you back maybe in a year or two and let us know, some of the experiences that you've had and whether or not our advice was of any value to you. You can let us know.
Definitely. I'm sure that like I'm starting a new chapter of my life, and I have right now, I feel this energy and I know exactly what I am, who I am, what I can do to people. And I know I'm in right spot. So I would love to kind of go through 1-2 years, and would be very nice to meet again and kind of to chat about that.
Well,
I'm sure you would have more advices that.
Just from this conversation, you demonstrated you're a dynamic lady. You have so many skill sets. You have a wonderful approach to life, and you're stepping out into it in fullness. And people are going to pick up on that. They're going to feel it. They're going to sense it.
I want it.
Yeah, you're going to be, Olga, it's like I keep telling you, you're going to be successful at whatever you do. Always.
Like, yes, he was by my side many years whatever I was doing, even like I was strongly sure that the result will be there or not. He always was saying the same thing, that you would be there, you would make it. And at the end, yes, we celebrated. So I have no doubts it would happen. It's just like, it's a journey.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
So
it's already here right now. You can feel it.
Yeah.
exactly.
I feel the vibes without touching trees. I feel the energy.
Yeah, and the rest will just happen automatically almost.
Yeah, exactly. So, Olga, this has been a tremendous, tremendous conversation. We've kind of learned a lot from you, and hopefully, some of what we've shared has resonated with you as well. And, like you mentioned, we would love to kind of have you on the show again, after some time to, like you said, give us an update as to if any of the advice shared was helpful or to what extent.
Absolutely, Rajiv. Thank you so much. My pleasure meeting everybody, and I enjoyed very much. So hopefully it's not the last time.
Yep. To be continued.
Happy weekend to everybody. Today's Friday, so
Yes.
it's the weekend.
Well, if you're Every day is a weekend and every day is a work day.
That's so true, but it's kind of more stereotyped.
Yeah,
Great.
that's true.